Morning, Mikel.
Hello.
It looks like you've got a fair few players out. How difficult has it been to prepare for the game against Leeds after the international break?
Yes, very unusual and concerned because you have players all over the world, and with the actual context with the COVID, makes things very unpredictable. And most of the time when they become unpredictable, they are not good news towards the team. But I think a lot of clubs are in the same position, and we have to try to make it as easy as possible for the players. But at the same time, obviously, it's not ideal to prepare any football game.
What are you expecting from Leeds United on Sunday?
That they're going to go full gas like they always do. They had 2 weeks to prepare the game, not as many international as us, and I don't expect them to change too much. They are very loyal to their principles, to the way they play, and they approach every game the same way, which is to win, to be very aggressive with or without the ball, and try to win. It doesn't matter where they play. What I've seen from them in the last seasons is not a concern who they play against. It's more about what they do.
Mentally, though, how important is it for you to bounce back from that defeat to Aston Villa?
Yeah, obviously it's been a painful week because normally when you get a defeat at home, you won a game straight away. It wasn't the case, but we used that as well to reflect on what we are doing, to analyze why that happened. I think we were all shocked the way we end up the game, the last 25, 30 minutes. Before that, it was a different game, but still that we have to improve in many areas. That consistency is something that obviously we need to get much better at. And after the good result and the brilliant performance that we had at Old Trafford, to get that lost, it was a shock in the system for everybody. But let's take the positive out from them, learn and move on.
Just a couple of quick questions on leadership, if I've got time. Frank Lampard described management this week as all-consuming, dealing with 50 problems every day. Is that how you see it as well?
Well, at the moment, I think the actual context, it makes it that way. I feel so privileged to be where I am because I love so much what I do. I love to be sitting and representing this football club and have the opportunity to spend time with these players, with this staff. But I think it's becoming a job that every time you are resolving issues and resolving problems. And if you get shocked by that every day, then it's very, energy-wise, very consuming. I think I come now and I'm expecting something to come the dog through the door and give me bad news, to having to react quickly because I know it's coming right now. And I think I try to prepare myself and my mood in the morning to say, okay, let's see what we face today and let's go for it.
Would you say that's the most important trait then when it comes to leadership and management, resilience, if you like?
Absolutely, and how you bounce back, how you navigate through difficult moments, and how convinced you are about what you are doing, and at the end of the day, how you judge yourself with the decisions that you make, and where those decisions are coming from at the end from you. Is that a real feeling? You do it for somebody else, for any other opinion, or because you think it's the right thing for the club, the players, or the staff?
Thanks very much, Mikel.
Okay, thanks, Faye. Now we'll move on to Dharmesh from Sky. Dharmesh, if you've got a couple, please. Thank you.
Hi there, Mikel. Just very quickly on Thomas Partey. Do you have any idea when he could return?
No, well, he picked an injury very early in the game. He tried to carry on. He wanted to continue the second half, and we knew it was a significant injury. He's done really well. He's working very hard. He wants to be available. He's trying. Hopefully we can get him back soon, but it's an area that we have to be careful and be protective with the player.
You touched on like the issues with COVID. I know you've got Said Kolasinac and Elneny who tested positive. Just generally, is it a concern, and are you satisfied with the protocols and how it's being dealt with when players go away compared to what they have at the club?
Well, it's to really know the protocols that other national teams are applying is almost impossible, because there are so many things that have to be controlled. We just try to be in contact with them, make sure that that they know what we are expecting. They are trying to protect the players as much as possible, like we are doing. In some countries is more difficult than others. Obviously, the more exposed they are in flights, if they have to go in different planes, obviously the percentages of risk are increasing constantly. And it's not ideal, but we need to go through this. We are learning every day about it, and there's not much that we as managers can do as well.
And another issue that one of your other players had, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, when he was with Gabon, the squad, the pictures of them sleeping on the airport floor. Now, the Gabon manager basically said after that Arsenal won't release him again. Is he right?
No, well, obviously it was a shock to see a full squad sleeping the way they were doing. I always believe that everybody is trying to do their best, and the Gabon national team are trying to organize things the best possible way. Sometimes things happen, unpredictable things happened, and it was an experience. I said to Oba, take it as an experience. You never, I'm sure for many months or years you haven't slept on the floor. Take it from there, and just make sure when you are in your bed, you know how good it is, how comfortable it is, and how lucky you are. And that's it. You cannot change it. You cannot rewind it. So take it the way it is and move on. And obviously, I hope that the next time it doesn't happen and our players have the rest that they need.
You talked earlier about, just one more, Dan, you talked earlier about management being about resolving issues. I want to ask you about a reported issue at the training ground in the last couple of weeks between David Luiz and Dani Ceballos. Can you clear up what happened, please?
Nothing. That training is very competitive, and issues happened a lot of times, and those things get resolved immediately within the team, and not much to say.
No problem between the two?
No problem at all.
Thanks, Darmish. We'll move on to George on the BBC, please.
Thanks, Dan. Mikel, did you see what happened between the two, between Luiz and Dani Ceballos? Were you there?
No, I've got a really bad vision from far. That's why we train with behind closed doors.
Okay. I was just wondering, is Willian fit to play on Sunday? Because was he in Dubai in the last 2 weeks?
Yeah, you keep asking me for more and more issues. Whatever happens internally with any issues or things that we don't expect, as always, we will try to resolve them internally. That's been dealt with and explained, and we move on.
Did he let you down in a way, making that trip?
Well, we had a conversation, and I explained what I was expecting, and there are a lot of personal factors at the moment that as well, from our side, we need to be in their shoes. A lot of players are having different issues, like any public person out there, and sometimes they make decisions based on the needs or the moment or what people are expecting from them. Whether they are right or wrong, I've said obviously is a thing that we have to discuss, but again, it's been dealt in the right way, and let's move on.
Joe Willock was excellent when you played in Europa League, and with no Partey and no Elneny, is it possible that he might start on Sunday?
Well, I mentioned with Joe that I've been really impressed with Joe, the way he's handled the situation of not having much game time in the Premier League. And I haven't seen him train like he's done in the last 5 or 6 weeks under difficult circumstances. And I think the reflection of that is the way he's played in the Europa League when he had the minutes, or the Carabao Cup in this case. And he has a chance like everybody else to play on
Eddie Nketiah, of course, used to play for Leeds. He scored 2 in the week. He could have had a hat-trick. Is he in line to start too, possibly?
Another one that is fighting and knocking on the door every day, and I really like his mentality. He has scored 2. He comes in the training ground and he says, I should have scored 4. So that's the type of ambition and hunger that you want from players. So again, with both of them and some others, I'm really happy.
Thanks, George.
And
Thanks,
so
George.
just
We've got
quick
a lot to
one,
get through
and so
today.
just
Thank you.
one on Pep. Mikel, I mean, are you pleased he's staying at Man City? I mean, he's a great manager, but
I'm very pleased for him because, as you know, he's never been so long at a football club. So the fact that he's extending his contract means that he's extremely happy there, that he's found his place, that he feels valued there, that he has the chemistry that I know with players, with the fans, and obviously with the ownership. So I want the best for him, and if he's extending the contract, it's because he's very happy and he feels that that's the best place for him to continue his career. So congratulations.
thank you.
Thanks, George. Ian from TalkSport.
Hi, Mikel. Hope you're well. Just one on Pep there, actually. He said he signed a new deal because of the unfinished business. Does that worry you in terms of his unfinished business being in the Premier League, or do you think his unfinished business is to win the Champions League?
Well, knowing him and his ambitions and how competitive he is, unfinished business means that he wants to win every competition every year, for sure. And if he needs to win the fourth domestic trophy again and he can do it, I'm sure he's going to try to do it. Obviously, Europe is a massive thing. He really wants to move the club towards that Champions League win, and that's on his way, And I think medium and long term, that was one of the things that he wanted to achieve. So I'm sure that it will be a focal point.
On and off the pitch, you've been documenting the difficulties certain players have had. I mean, you lost against Villa, and then certain players going on international duty, as you say, Aubameyang sleeping on the floor, and other players having different issues. Is all this because they're getting a bit fatigued because the season is so condensed? I mean, we have Frank Lampard yesterday saying, hang on, 12:30 kickoffs off the back of international break, and asking us to play literally, and you're going to be doing this now because Europa League kicks in again, twice a week. I mean, are we really asking too much now of players and managers?
Well, it's really demanding. It's never been done to play the amount of games that we have to play in a calendar year. It's never been done in the history of football. So it's something new, and obviously we know the consequences of that. The only thing from my side that I would demand to the Premier League, to the broadcaster, is that let's protect the players. At the end of the day, this industry, yes, we can do it without us being together in a room. We've been doing it, training individually. We've been doing without having the possibility as a manager to speak to them in a room, even without the fans. But guys, we need the players. We have to protect them as much as possible. They are the protagonists of this whole industry, and whatever you can do, we have to modify the rules and make them a little bit more flexible for them, to give them a better opportunity to be fit. And it's not just physically, I mean mentally as well. Let's just do it, please.
To that end, I mean, the EFL from tonight, the game with Coventry and Birmingham are starting to have 5 subs. Is it time for the Premier League next week to say, we're changing our minds, we need more players for player welfare, we'll have 5 subs?
I am all for it, and not only that, but as well to extend the numbers in the squad, because at the moment we have a big squad for different reasons, and we have to leave 7-8 players every time here at home. And meaning at home means at home, because from training ground you go home, from home you go training ground. So even mentally for them to feel involved, you are traveling away, you are 2 days without the squad, without your teammates, it will be really helpful for them. So let's try to help them. Let's make them involved at least on what we are trying to do here. And I think there are easy decisions, So I don't know. It's my opinion, and let's hope we can change it.
Thanks, Ian.
Last one from me. We had Oliver Dowden, the sports minister, on talking to us on TalkSport yesterday, hinting that we might get fans back in December. I know Arsenal were very keen and worked extremely hard to get fans back for October, which never happened. You must be hopeful and optimistic, maybe, that we might see fans back before Christmas.
I'm very hopeful and optimistic because I've seen the plans, all the protocols and all the work that the club is done to try to create a safe environment. I think we are able to provide that. If they decide to move ahead, the project that they've done, it's very impressive. So whenever we give the green light to do that, we are prepared to host them.
Thanks, Mikel. Thank you.
Thanks, Ian. Mark from PA, please.
Morning, Mikel. Just one on Willian, if I could. Given he went against club guidance not to travel, and you say the issue's now been dealt with, does that mean he stays in the matchday squad for Sunday or not?
That means that the deal is being resolved, explained, and dealt within the team and the club. That's all I can say, Mark.
Okay. Bukayo Saka spoke after the game the other night, the England game. He said he isn't concerned about burnout, even though he's played 232 minutes during the international break. But does it worry you how many minutes you saw him play?
Well, I have to see him today when he comes back, how he's looking, how he's feeling. Obviously, he's a 19-year-old kid that has played a lot of football in the last few months, and we have to protect him. But I understand from Gareth's point of view as well. He had the injury of Chilwell, and probably he didn't plan to give him that many minutes, but the circumstances forced him to do it. And yeah, from my side, it's not ideal, but when I am in Gareth's shoes, probably I would have done exactly the same. So it's what it is. Let's see how he comes back and try to get him fit and recovered and see how he is for Sunday.
Cool. And Pablo Mari, I believe, is returning to fitness. His injury seemed to take a lot longer to heal than everyone initially thought. How is he, and why was that?
Well, he's looking really good in training. Obviously, he had a difficult surgery. He had a screw, and sometimes when you have an external body inside, can react in a unexpected way, and it was causing some inflammation and irritation in the joint all the time, and the ankle was swelling. So we had to take that out again, which was a little bit of a setback. But he's been working really hard, and it looks really good in training.
He joined. Sorry, just one more. Pablo joined almost a year ago now. He's played only 3 games in that time, during which you've also signed Gabriel, obviously. Does Pablo still have a role within the first team?
Yes, he does. And yeah, we've been hit really hard with some big injuries. Not only Pablo, but Cedric as well. Since he joined, he had 2 or 3 different incidents. Gabriel Martinelli has been out for such a long time. Callum Chambers got injured after 3 weeks. I was here and I still haven't played a single game, and I'm still recovering. It's what it is. What I can say is the approach of those players and the way they've been trying to work to be back to their best has been phenomenal in all cases. And let's hope that we can have them, we can use them, and they can feel part of what we're doing.
Thanks, Mikel.
Thanks, Mark. James Ollie from ESPN.
Hi, Mikel. Sorry to go back to Willian again, but just to clarify, did he actually break club rules? Could you just confirm that?
I don't confirm anything. That only it's an issue that is being resolved, explained, and let's move on.
Okay. I mean, on a general level, is it harder maybe to keep a grip on discipline at the moment, just because of the nature of the season, you know, the flights, the international games being sort of more prevalent, more condensed?
It's impossible because we have so many rules, guidelines that we have to follow that sometimes even without even thinking, you break them. And even in training, when you give a bib to somebody else, you say, oh no, I cannot do that. The bib has to be here. Someone has to come with the gloves. Sometimes you don't even know. So I just try to think that we are all very aware of what we are dealing with, and we take it very, very seriously. And yeah, everybody can make a mistake. It's just where that mistake is coming from, I think is the relevant thing.
Can I also just ask you about Cedric Soares? He's not played a single minute in the Premier League. Obviously, Hector's been playing very well, but what more does he need to do to force his way into the Premier League team? Well,
I've seen a big change on Cedric in the last month or so. I think his performances in Europa, they've been much better. He needed some time as well to adapt to our way of playing, and most importantly, he needed his fitness level to be to the standards that we knew, and that was impossible because he had some injuries. When he came here, he had a really bad injury in his knee. After he broke his nose, he had some difficulties, but again, it's a lad that is trying really hard every day in training, that is accepting the situation and is fighting against it to prove us wrong and try to provide him more opportunities.